Hello everyone, welcome. So we are talking about control and coordination, and now I will be speaking about human brain. So human brain, see, when I talk about the nervous system of the in human beings, it has got two nervous system. One is the central nervous system, which is CNS, other is the peripheral nervous system. So central nervous system has got brain and spinal cord. Okay, so it has brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system, it has other all nerves which is connecting to the other parts. So this is central nervous system, and then there is a peripheral nervous system. Okay, so main part of the central nervous system is the brain. So now we are going to talk about the brain. So brain does a lot of functions. It does the functions of writing, talking, so thinking, using logical thoughts. All these things are done by brain. Okay, so a spinal cord is made up of nerves which supply information to think, and thinking involves more complex mechanism and neural connections. So these are concentrated in the brain, which is the main coordinating center of the body. The brain and spinal cord constitute the central nervous system. They receive information from all parts of the body and integrate it. We also think of, many actions like writing, talking, moving a chair, clapping at the end of the program. All these are examples of voluntary actions. We decide to do that. So brain also has to send a message to the muscles that now you need to clap. The second way in which the nervous system communicates with the muscles, that is the communication between the central nervous system and the other parts of the body, which is facilitated by peripheral nervous system, constituting the cranial nerves arising from the brain and spinal nerves which is arising from the spines. Now the brain, thus it will allow us to think and take actions based on that thinking. So you will expect this is accomplished through a complex design which is different parts of the brain which is responsible for integrating different inputs and outputs. So what are the different types of different parts of the brain? So we have the brain here. This is how it almost looks like. Fine. So there is a forebrain. So, whatever is the front in the forehead region, so that is the forebrain that we have. Then we have the midbrain and we have the hindbrain. So it is completely, so there is a forebrain, there is a midbrain, and then there is a hindbrain. So that is there. Okay. So the forebrain, what is the function of forebrain? The forebrain does the function of thinking. So it is the thoughts that comes across in the forebrain area. Okay, it is a region which receives sensory impulses from various receptors. Now there are separate areas of forebrains which is for specialized function. So there is a specialized region that can identify smell. There is a separate region that can identify sound, and so on and so forth. So there are separate areas of association where the sensory information is interpreted by putting it together with information from the receptor as well as the information that is already in the brain. So, if you had an accident, so there is a fear that is happening. So it is, whenever it is seeing such a situation, it is going to coordinate it with the previous situation and you are going to have a phobia. Okay, so that is there. So that is the function of your forebrain. Okay, then after that, based on all this, a decision is made about how to respond, and the information is passed through the motor nerves, and thus the voluntary actions is taking place. Okay, now the sensation of feeling pull is because of the center associated with hunger, which is a separate part of the forebrain. Even you are feeling hungry, that is because of the forebrain. Okay, now there are various reflex actions also, that is that we have talked earlier. So our mouth waters when we see food. Okay, and then after that our heart beats without our thinking about it. In fact, we cannot control these actions easily by thinking about them. I want my heart not to beat, so I can't say that stop beating, or if it's beating faster, I cannot say relax, don't beat so fast. Okay. So in between simple reflex action like change in size of pupil and the thought of out actions such as moving a chair, there is another set of muscle movements over which we do not have control. So these are the involuntary actions, and all the involuntary actions, they are controlled by the midbrain and the hindbrain. So all the voluntary actions by the forebrain and all the involuntary actions by the midbrain and the hindbrain. Okay, so like salivation, blood pressure, then vomiting, they are controlled by medulla and the hindbrain. Okay, so this is a different this is a structure of a brain that we have. So in the forebrain we have the forebrain, and then we have, this is a forebrain. Here see, we have the midbrain, and then we have the hindbrain. Okay, and here we have the hindbrain. This region is the hindbrain. Okay, so within this now, when we talk about different layers that is there in the brain, we have the cerebrum. Okay, the cerebrum is there. Then we have the cerebellum here, which is a small brain that we have. It does the functions like just like a brain and looks similar to that. So cerebrum and cerebellum is there, and then we have the medulla oblongata. Okay, medulla oblongata is your pons region that we have. Okay, so these are the basic regions, and here we have two glands. One is hypothalamus gland and the pituitary gland, which is present, which does all the vital functions, or it secretes the vital hormones. Okay, so that is in the midbrain we have the two glands that is there. Okay, and the outermost layer of the brain, we have the cortex, which is the outermost layer, and then we have the cranium. Okay, the inner layer that we have. Okay, so we have the cortex, we have the cranium, and when we talk about the brains, we have cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata. Okay, so this is the structure of the brain. All right, and now how are tissues protected? So a delicate organ like brain, which is so important for a variety of activities, need to be carefully protected. So our brain, it is enclosed in a bony box, and this bony box is known as skull. This bony box is skull. So inside the skull, the brain is contained in a fluid filled balloon. Okay, which provides further shock absorption. So that is how our brain is very much protected. Next, how does the nervous tissue cause action? So the nervous tissue cause action. So here the nervous tissue, it is going to collect information, send it around the body, process information, make decision based on the information, and convey the decision to the muscles. That is how it is going to act, and thus our muscle is going to react accordingly. The simplest notion of movement at a cellular level is the muscle cells will move by changing their shape so that they can shorten. Okay, so now basically the chemistry of cellular components, okay, that will be involving with this. And the muscle cells, they have special proteins that change both their shape and the arrangement in the cell in response to the nervous electrical impulse. When this happens, new arrangement of proteins give the muscles a shorter form, and that is how you are able to contract your muscles and remove your hands. So that's all about animal coordination system in animals. As a nervous system, the brain. Okay, so in the nervous system I have discussed in the previous video, and brain is being discussed here. So thank you.